Here's the thing that I don't think people know about my marriage is when we got together, when we met, he didn't have a 5-year goal projection about where he would be. He didn't have a planned out system of what it would look like for us in the future. He didn't come with all the things prepared and saying, you know what, by this year we're going to do this, and by this year we're going to do that, and this and all. He didn't have all that, but what he had, because what it was he was intentional about what he did with me in our dating stage. I was able to see his actions and I knew what kind of man he would be. He didn't have to tell me anything. I saw it in him. Why? Because the God in me saw that in him. Because what we have to realize is God is going to prepare you for who you need to be prepared for. I'm not saying I was making a whole lot of money. I'm not saying he was making a whole lot of money. What I do know is that when a union happens, when a covenant happens, when you two become one, you two become one. And God then works within the both of you to show you both what you're both supposed to be doing here on this earth, what assignment you two have. And I can say now, the assignment we have now is being shown in its greatest extent. And honestly, I'm kind of glad he didn't give me his 5-year projection because I don't think that we even would have came to pass. God does what God does. And I believe we have to write our plans in pencil. We had to write our plans in pencil so that God can erase, rearrange, reconstruct, do all the things that he needs to do with us to make sure that we're on the path that he wants us to be a part of. Because here's the thing, I knew that the God we serve wouldn't do me dirty. I knew that if I prayed to him and if he planted visions within me of what my husband was to become, he was going to become what God said he was going to become. So in the beginning stages of our marriage, and even when we first met, my husband is a super introvert. This is the reason why I'm saying all this. My husband was a super introvert, and I couldn't get him to speak in front of anybody. I had to be the one to speak a lot of the times when it came to, you walk in restaurants. He's not a very sociable person, I should say, and you wouldn't see him on camera. He's a behind the scenes kind of guy. And not until he became in ministry or he became a lead in one of the ministries that we were a part of is when he had to open up a lot more. And even since then, since he said yes to God, God's been opening doors where he has to be outside of his comfort zone a lot more. And I'm watching his growth in our marriage and I'm seeing how God is using him. And I didn't push him. I knew that in time he would become what I'm seeing now. He's speaking, he's coaching, he's talking to people, he's even teaching people. He has a channel on here that he grew to 10K, and I'm seeing the growth in what gifting he has in arts. He always had an art background, right? He always had a gift in graphics. Like that's what he was going to go to school for at one point. But now I'm looking at him and he's using the gifts for what he's doing now. And it's by far doing so great for him. It's phenomenal to see where he's at right now. To see people be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see your stuff. Like, this is amazing. And now, guess what? He's teaching people how to edit on TikTok. Like, you would have asked me 10 years ago, 15 years ago, if I would have seen this in him, I would have said, what? But I knew that God was going to do great things within him. I just had to wait and be patient. We got a podcast together. He's up here editing the podcast. He's talking with me, having conversations. Like, he has grown so much. And this is only the beginning. I already know this is only the beginning for us. Now, I'm not saying he didn't come with plans when we met. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it wasn't stick in the ground, this is what we're doing. It was like, I'm followed by God. I'm working where God needs me and I'm following the will of God. I may not make a lot of money right now, but I know God has something in store for me. Like, he knew that wherever he moved, God was moving him wherever. And I trusted that because I serve a good God and I know what God did for me. So if God can do that for me, I know it could do it for us, right? So it wasn't a worry. I'm not saying, and I'm not knocking that if they're not talking about what they want in 5 years or whatever, please, by all means, do that. But I wasn't stressed by not hearing that. There was a peace behind it. There was peace behind it. So what am I saying here? It's all about actions and it's about intention. My husband never stopped showing me his intention. And I saw his action. He had a spirit and a will for integrity. He never failed at what he said he was going to do. And so he was assertive and he worked hard at it. That's what I'm saying. And so you have to watch what they're doing and test what they're saying and vet who they are, right? And then and only then will you know. Prayer was necessary. I prayed, and God is so good that he gave me what I prayed for. So anyway, I could talk for a long time on this. I just want to come here and say how proud of my husband I am, of him, and God is moving in extraordinary and I'm about to say astrological ways. But anyway, in extraordinary ways. And I want to offer encouragement to the single women out there who are waiting for that husband. Like, God won't allow you to stress so much. There will be a peace behind it. And if you're not getting peace, then you already know what to do. All right. I love y'all. Okay, bye.